Hello, and welcome to a short video about creating and running a simple custom endpoint using CA Live API Creator. Custom endpoints are free-form handlers to your API that do not need to map to a specific data model. They contain custom JavaScript that returns a JSON or HTML response. Custom endpoints do not involve interactions with the database. From the API Creator homepage, start either by creating a new API or by selecting the tile for an existing API. For this demonstration, we'll create a new API. Let's create an API using the Northwind sample database. Click Continue. Next, we'll click Custom Endpoints. Here we'll add a new custom endpoint. Enter the name that you want to use to refer to the endpoint internally. Enter the name that you want to use to call this endpoint. For example, if you define the URL pattern as demo, you can use the URL that's displaying on the page now to call the endpoint. Enter the JavaScript code that defines the logic for the custom endpoint to operate. To do this, replace the sample code that appears by default with your custom code for the endpoint. For example, the code shown here generates a simple HTML page with predefined content and a link to the custom endpoint documentation. By default, the custom endpoint uses the GET method to process and is active. Select Authenticate if you want to require authentication when calling the endpoint. Add some comments to describe your custom endpoint. For example, this endpoint opens DocOps. Save the endpoint. Now let's test the endpoint. Copy the URL and paste it into a new browser window. The HTML page is rendered displaying predefined content and links to the custom endpoint documentation. In this video, you learned how to create, test, and run a simple custom endpoint using CA Live API Creator. For more information about custom endpoints, go to https://docops.ca.com/LAC. To see more videos about this and other CA products, subscribe to the CA Educate channel. Thanks for watching.
For more detailed information about CA Live API Creator, click the information bubble in the top right corner to load the products page. From there, you can go to product documentation, visit the CA communities, or see the learning path.